This is the Contixo LA703 7-inch quad-core Android kids tablet. And included with this kids tablet are the instructions, an AC wall adapter. One of the nice things they add is an Otg cable, a silicone case, an included screen protector, and a micro USB charging cable. The instructions themselves are actually pretty decent. They cover the basics of the tablet pretty well. The screen protector I actually took off of this particular tablet. I'm not a big fan of the plastic screen protectors anyway, but the one that was on this tablet was kind of bubbling up already. And I actually I'm thinking it was just a plastic a protector for shipping. I actually pulled it off anyway, not realizing it was actually a screen protector. But it does have a screen protector with it. Again, and I like the, addition of the Otg cable because it allows you to connect USB devices such as thumb drives and things like that for additional storage or file transfers and that kind of thing. Kind of a nice touch. Now, this particular tablet comes with two styles of cases, or is sold with two different styles of cases, and under different Amazon pages. One is this particular style of tablet case. This is a Tour Pro case, which is actually a cool looking blue case. In this, there's a variety of colors, but I actually like the looks of this case better than the other one. The downside to this one is it's a little thinner silicone wise, and doesn't provide as much protection in the corners and as a whole as a case, as well as the other one. So this one looks nice. The other one is actually made by Contixo themselves. This is, again, they come in a variety of colors. It's a different style, but the biggest difference with this one, other than the cutouts that it has for, style, I assume, which is what the other one has. There's no center cutout, but this is thicker, a thicker silicone, and not only the corners, but overall on the tablet, and of course has some ridges on the back for additional protection and bump protection. And it's really a matter of choice of what you want. If you kind of want a case that looks cool and not so worried about protection, then you might want to go with the tablet that sells with the Tour Pro cases. Or if you want a little bit more protection, you might want to go with the Contixo cases with that particular tablet. Again, they're on separate pages. And my observations are the same because the tablets are the same, so I figured I would combine the two cases for each page in one review since the tablet observations are the same. This particular tablet includes the latest Android operating system, and let me bring it up here a little bit and show you. And it's definitely targeted for kids. Sorry about the light. As you can see, the background is, of course, for a little zoo background for kids. And I'm going to run the benchmarking app here. Although for some reason the benchmarking app, I've ran this several times, won't go all the way through. It doesn't really crash, but it doesn't seem to complete either. It does the majority of the tests, but for some reason it doesn't always go all the way through. But this particular tablet has the latest Android system with a quad-core, what they call an ARM v7, 1.5 gigahertz chipset in it, CPU. It has a gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of ROM, but it also has an SD slot. Let me find it here. They always put them in different spots here. An SD slot under here that you can add additional space. There's the volume buttons there as well, along with the headset jack right there on the top. It's a little hard to see because it's black. But there's the power button on the top side here, along with the charging plug for the wall adapter, the micro charging cable, a reset button, and of course you've got your front and back cameras on the top as well. And again, this is not a high-end tablet by any means. You got a 1024 by 600 screen resolution, which is okay. You have wireless in, and of course there's compromises, of course, with the cameras, because you only get a 0.3 megapixel front camera and a 2 megapixel rear camera, which is so-so, but considering it's a budget level tablet, it's kind of expected. It's not out of the ordinary. None of those specifications are out of the ordinary for a tablet in this price range. And as I said, this one's squarely set for a younger kids market with this design. It's got the zoo background, but they include a ton of apps, kids apps with this, including a number of games and learning apps designed for like a younger audience. I would say less than 10 years old. And with this, you know, being a kid's budget tablet, of course, you don't have the specs that match higher end tablets. But, you know, you've got, you know, the ability for basic web surfing, email, you know, streaming video, streaming music, playing kids games, and the learning apps that are on this, and they all work fine for that purpose. The touch sensitivity of the screen is just as good as anything I've used, of any device I've used. And again, like I said, there are some compromises. The screen resolution with this, although it's decent, it has IPS style of screen of a screen, which basically for straight on viewing is great, but at angle viewing you don't get as good of a view with it. It kind of looks a little off for whatever reason. But I mean, for this price range, you know, you don't expect a high-end screen display. The tablet is fairly speedy for the price, but again, you don't have a huge amount of memory on board, and you know, and of course you lose some in camera resolution too. This also doesn't have Bluetooth ability, you know, which is not expected really. And most of the things I'm talking here are pretty common characteristics for a kid's level or a budget level type tablet at this price range. But again, I mean, this tablet is a pretty decent tablet for what it is. You know, I connected this, you know, to my network with no issues. I have an AC network. This is what the tablet's wireless in, but it had no issues connecting. And you know, it has a few more apps on here than what I normally like for a tablet to have. What I consider bloatware, but because of this being a kid's tablet, it's understandable because most of those are kid-related apps. So for me, yeah, I consider that bloatware, but for a kid, they would probably think they're great because there's some games, lots of games and different learning apps. The Play Store is installed by default as opposed to third-party app stores, which is great. And of course, there, you know, are always with these budget tablets that you get some changes in the settings that you really should take care of or check first before you really mess around. Changing the time zone, for example, the home page of the internet, for example. But the one good thing about, at least I found with this particular tablet, as opposed to other budget level tablets, the developer mode and the unknown sources settings were already disabled, which you know, those are considered kind of security risks for tablets such as this. But that was already turned off, which was good, so I didn't have to deal with that. And as a habit, I always download an antivirus app and scan for virus or other security issues. And because these things are kind of open or unlocked type of tablets, you know, it always detects it of having that issue, but I always do that as habit, so there's no surprises, and I didn't find any surprises in this one. There's also a partial video on the tablet showing the cartoon up to show off its video and sound capabilities. And the video, again, was pretty decent. Sound is pretty decent considering this is a budget level tablet. Tablet takes about a couple hours to charge. The battery life is about 5 to 6 hours, depending on what you're doing with it. And of course, if you fool with any, you know, tablets or phones with Android or other operating systems, you know that's kind of dependent upon what you're doing with it. I added the 4 gig of space with an SD card. Consider this going to be a kids level tablet. I didn't add a lot, but with these budget level tablets, I really recommend adding an SD card. You know, even with kid tablets, you'll find you'll have pretty limited space for apps and games, and you really need that additional space. I did initially test this without any additional memory installed and had no issues or updating or installing any apps with just the base level. Again, streaming video was smooth, and considering the resolution that it's an IPS type of screen, it was pretty bright and clear, and pretty good screen quality. Again, the cameras are okay, but you know, you're not going to be taking any masterpiece pictures with these. Tablet was pretty quick with all the apps. Hasn't slowed down or given me any issues. Again, I just demonstrated the benchmarking app, which for some reason never goes all the way through. But the tablet itself has not gotten any hot at any time with either case on. And again, those cases are kind of a matter of choice or preference with what you like. But all those, you know, like any of these budget level tablets, there's some quirks with these tablets. But this is a good basic tablet for kids, especially those under 10. You know, and again, like I said, it works fine for most basic needs that kids will use this for. You know, and again, you're going to be limited a little bit because it's a budget level tablet for higher end games, that kind of thing. And you really should add an SD card. To me, the only thing missing with this is Bluetooth, but considering that this is kind of aimed at the kids market, it's not a surprise. And I don't expect it at this price range, but I give this 4.5 stars.